So here we are, students. We just finished Act 2, Scene 2. Just kind of refresh your memory on yesterday when you read. The last time we read about Romeo and Julia. Oh, look at that. I have donuts in the lounge for myself. Miss Freeman, a retired teacher, has brought donuts. So you could say I'm pretty excited right now, in case you're wondering. But yeah, there's donuts in the social studies office, and after this video, I will probably go find one. So in case you're wondering. Oh, look, we have TaxSlayer here. I actually use TurboTax for my refund, but as you get older, you'll decide if you're going to file your taxes, if you're going to have someone do it for you. Okay, let's get back to this. So, thinking about where we're at, Juliet was on the balcony thinking yet not saying anything at all. Romeo was under the wall there at the Capulets' house, and they finally talked to each other, just by happenstance. And at the end, they're talking about marriage. And at the end of Scene 2, Romeo says, "Sleep dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Would I were sleep in peace, so sweet to rest. Hence will I to my ghostly friar's close cell, his help to crave, and my dear hap to tell." So he says, "I'm going to go visit my priest friend, Friar Lawrence, to talk about if he can marry us." So here we go. I will start on page 774, and Romeo is at Friar Lawrence's chamber at his church.
The grey-eyed morn smiles on the frowning night, checkering the eastern clouds with streaks of light. And flecked darkness like a drunkard reels from forth day's path and tightens fiery wheels. Non, ere the sun advance his burning eye, the day to cheer and night's dank dew to dry, I must upfill this osier cage of ours with baleful weeds and precious juiced flowers. The earth, that's nature's mother, is her tomb. What is her burying grave? That is her womb. And from her womb children of divers kind we, sucking on her natural bosom, find. Many, for many virtues excellent, none but for some, and yet all different. Mickle is the powerful grace that lies in plants, herbs, stones, and their true qualities, for naught so vile that on the earth doth live, but to the earth some special good doth give. Nor aught so good, but, strained from that fair use, revolts from true birth, stumbling on abuse. Virtue itself turns vice, being misapplied, and vice sometimes by action dignified.
So let's think about this here. Two things we'll talk about. First of all, what's Friar Lawrence? He's out in the courtyard. He's just collecting. He's collecting his baskets full of poisonous weeds and medicinal flowers. There, he talks about the great things about the world and how the negative things. And at the end, he talks about virtue, and he says that virtue turns to evil if it's misused. So, like a virtue that we have. Oh, more donuts for me in the leftover lounge for student council. It is just a donut day. Wow. It's Thursday, February 13th, in case you're wondering. That's why I'm recording this. But he states virtue turns to evil if it's misused, and sometimes evil can become virtuous if it's done through the right activities. So, something that could be virtuous. I think helping people out can be a great virtuous thing to do. I think when you boast about it and you talk about how great you are, it definitely, or if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, it can become evil. Think about something evil like murder. All right, murder is evil, right? Killing someone is evil, but sometimes it can become virtuous through the right activity. So when is it okay to kill someone? Well, when they're trying to kill you, right? It's an evil thing to do, but in this situation, it could be that you're saving someone from, maybe someone's going to be beat up or something, and you go and you stop that from happening, and maybe you have to throw a few haymakers to make it happen. You're being virtuous because you're helping someone else. Continuing on. So Romeo comes in.
The rind of this small flower, poison hath residence, and medicine power. For this, being smelt, with that part cheers each part. Being tasted, slays all senses with the heart. Two such opposed kings encamp them still in man, as well as herbs, grace and rude will. And where the worser is predominant, full soon the cankered death eats up that plant.
Good morrow, father.
Benedicite, whose early tongue so sweet saluteth me? Young son, it argues a distempered head so soon to bid good morrow to thy bed. Care keeps his watch in every old man's eye, and where care lodges, sleep will never lie. But where unbruised youth with unstuffed brain doth couch his limbs, there golden sleep doth reign. Therefore thy earliness doth me assure thou art aroused with some distemperature. Or if not so, then here I hit it right. Our Romeo hath not been in bed tonight.
So here's Friar Lawrence, and he's talking to Romeo. He's like, "What are you doing here? This is so early in the morning. Either something's really wrong and you got out of bed early, or you haven't gone to sleep." And Romeo says, "Well, that's true. The sweeter rest was mine." He said, "I enjoyed sweeter rest than sleep."
Last is true, the sweeter rest was mine.
God pardon sin, wast thou with Rosaline?
With Rosaline, my ghostly father? No, I have forgot that name and that name's woe.
That's my good son. But where hast thou been then?
I'll tell thee ere thou ask it me again. I have been feasting with mine enemy, where on a sudden one hath wounded me, that's by me wounded. Both are remedies within thy help, and holy physic lies. I bear no hatred, blessed man, for lo, my intercession likewise steads my foe.
All right, Romeo here is kind of being like the nurse. He's avoiding answering the complete questions. Where were you? Oh, I was. I'll tell you thee ere thou ask me again. I've been feasting with my enemy. Okay, what does that mean? You know, like we know it's the Capulets, but he can just outright tell Mr. Friar Lawrence, or hey, I was talking to Juliet, who's a Capulet, but you know he avoids an answer. He's like he says the truth, but it's hard to understand the truth there.
Be plain, good son, and homely in thy drift. Riddling confession finds but riddling shrift.
Then plainly know my heart's dear love is set on the fair daughter of rich Capulet. As mine on hers, so hers is set on mine, and all combined, save what thou must combine by holy marriage. When and where and how we met, we wooed and made exchange of vow. I'll tell thee as we pass, but this I pray, that thou consent to marry us today.
Holy Saint Francis, what a...
We'd probably say a different word besides Holy Saint Francis. But Roman here tells him, I love Juliet, and we're bound to each other. We want to get married, and we want it to happen today. He wants Friar Lawrence to do this, and Friar Lawrence responds, Holy Saint Francis. We'd probably use something else these days.
Change is here. Is Rosaline, that thou didst love so dear, so soon forsaken? Young men's love, then, lies not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. Jesu Maria, what a deal of brine hath washed thy sallow cheeks for Rosaline! How much salt water thrown away in waste to season love that of it doth not taste! The sun not yet thy sighs from heaven clears. Thy old groans ring yet in mine ancient ears. Lo, here upon thy cheek the stain doth sit of an old tear that is not washed off yet. If e'er thou wast thyself, and these woes thine, thou and these woes were all for Rosaline. And art thou changed? Pronounce this sentence then. Women may fall when there's no strength in men.
Thou chid'st me oft for loving Rosaline.
For doting, not for loving, pupil mine.
And bad'st me bury love.
Not in a grave to lay one in, another out to have.
I pray thee, chide not. She whom I love now doth grace for grace and love for love allow. The other did not so.
Oh, she knew well thy love did read by rote that could not spell. But come, young waverer, come go with me. In one respect I'll thy assistant be, for this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household's rancor to pure love.
Oh, let us hence, I stand on sudden haste.
Wisely and slow, they stumble that run fast.
So, Friar Lawrence, at the end, he states here that he will happily marry, he's going to reluctantly or happily marry Romeo and Juliet. And he does this because he thinks that it will bury the feud between the Montagues and the Capulets. And, Rose says, let's do it now. And Friar Lawrence says, just go slow. When you rush through stuff, you stumble and fall. I know, at Park and Fly when I'm working as a shuttle driver, and even last night I was working and I was trying to get these two pieces of luggage in this person's vehicle, and came down the steps a little too fast and slipped, and I made a pretty safe landing. I landed on my feet. I fell down 2 steps and landed on my feet like an amazing diver. So I was pretty proud of myself there. But regardless of the situation, if I would take my time, there's less likely that I would stumble and fall, and it would be a wiser decision in there to be to go slower.